everyone, it's Cass. Welcome back to my channel, What Cass Read. Today it's Top 5 Wednesday. I feel like I haven't done a Top 5 Wednesday in a while. The topic for this week is going to be your top 5 favorite fictional teachers or mentors. And then in parentheses is like, you can't include anyone from Harry Potter. And I was like, son of a bee. That just wipes out a bulk of my favorite teachers and mentors. Especially because I realized that by cutting out Harry Potter, then I didn't have very many female teachers and mentors, which is a whole nother video and discussion to be had about why aren't there more female mentors in literature. But anyway, when we think about, especially as far as the books that I read, which are all fantasy if you haven't figured that out by now, if we think about the kinds of teachers and mentors that we encounter in fantasy books, they're usually male, they're usually old, there's usually something a little bit off about them. They're just a little bit crazy. This is The Return of the King by J.R.R. Tolkien, and of course that is Gandalf the Grey, who becomes Gandalf the White. We don't need to get into great detail of how he becomes Gandalf the White, but it is pretty epic. We could also have a discussion about which Gandalf we prefer, the Grey or the White. I prefer Gandalf the Grey. The White Gandalf is a little bit too perfect, and so he's not my favorite. Gandalf the Grey is definitely my favorite. He knows what's going on, and he's only going to let you know so much about what's going on, but you trust him, so you kind of go with it anyway. Someone very similar to that is Brom, and this is Eragon, written by Christopher Paolini. Brom is Eragon's mentor for the first book. Brom is this old storyteller inside Eragon's village when he grows up, so he's known this man his whole life, but as the events of Eragon's life play out and he finds that he has a greater destiny than what he thinks it's going to be inside the village, then he also finds out that Brom is someone very important within the history of Allegatia, where this land is. There's a lot of uncovering of what Brom is, who Brom was, all that sort of thing. This is Assassin's Apprentice, written by Robin Hobb. This is book number 1 of the Farseer trilogy. So there's 2 male mentors in here. There's Burrich and there's Chade Fallstar. Burrich is the stable master and who was the right-hand man of Prince Chivalry, who ends up being Fitzchivalry's father. Fitzchivalry is the bastard son of the prince. The prince decides to abdicate his titles and his rights and leaves the kingdom, and he leaves his bastard son in the care of his stable master. So Burrich is an older man who feels so deeply about Prince Chivalry and feels like he's trying to do right by him. He's never wanted to fail him, but he does have his own personal shortcomings that sometimes get in the way. He's a drunk, he's kind of a screw-up, and he's got a lot to offer Fitzchivalry, and their relationship starts off pretty rocky, but as it goes forward, they just come to an understanding of one another, and it's one of my favorites. Obviously, Robin Hobb's one of my favorites, so that might have something to do with it. Then there's also Chade Fallstar, who ends up being the assassin that Fitzchivalry becomes apprenticed to. He's very eclectic. He's got his own way of doing things, but he's teaching these skills to Fitzchivalry as, you know, they're necessary for survival, not only for himself, but survival within the court that he is the bastard son of. Half of the people don't really want him there, and Chade Fallstar knows all too well what that's like. And then this is The Lies of Lacklamore, written by Scott Lynch, and then the favorite teacher and mentor in here is Father Chains, another old male mentor who's just a little bit off in his delivery. He runs the Gentleman Bastards when Lacklamore and the younger Gentleman Bastard era are growing up, and he teaches them all that they need to know about how to become a different kind of thief, and he has his own special way of doing things. He doesn't take just any kid off the street. He has a very tight-knit group, and he grooms them to become gentlemen first and then thieves second. Okay, and then there are 2 film teacher mentors that fall under the same category. Number 1 is Master Yoda. Duh. What do you say about the most powerful Jedi to have ever lived? I love how people just assume he's one way. They just assume he's this kooky old Jedi master. And even Anakin Skywalker is like, I'm gonna become more powerful than Master Yoda, and Obi Wan is like, try again. Like, check yourself at the door, because you haven't even seen Master Yoda to his full extent. We do when he battles Palpatine in episode 3. It goes Master Yoda and then Master Obi Wan. I love seeing Obi Wan as he moves from like Jedi in training Padawan into Jedi General and then Jedi Master, and we get to experience a lot of him that way. And I really liked watching the progression. I was a fan of Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan. I don't think a lot of people were, but I was. I could go on and on about episode 3. Honestly, like, unpopular opinion time, episode 3 is my favorite out of all the Star Wars movies. Not necessarily a human character, but an older Zen master, Master Splinter. We don't get to see a lot of what he's capable of. I like how unassuming Master Splinter is because he's just an old rat. This old ninjutsu master who raises these teenage turtles to become warriors and just instill in them what it means to be a ninja. It speaks to me on so many levels as a kid martial artist growing up. I have 3 siblings, and you better believe that we are the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I was Raphael. Like I said, that's like a whole list of male characters, and it made me think, like, wow, there's not that many female mentors and characters, but I did find 2. They're both film / comics. The first one I want to talk about is Aunt May from Spider-Man, and I really appreciated the recent 2 iterations of Aunt May and the 2 Aunt Mays that we get. We get an older Aunt May who's, seen life and is just trying to raise Peter on her own without the presence of Uncle Ben, and how does she step up to the plate. But then we also get in the most recent Spider-Man iterations with a younger Aunt May, and how does she raise a younger Peter Parker, and just the 2 of them kind of stumbling through it, figuring things out. Like, both versions of Aunt May are trying to teach Peter Parker how to be an upstanding human being without the presence of a man, like an adult male in his life. I love her. So Aunt May is a treasure, and I had to bring her up. And then my second favorite mentor is someone who didn't become a mentor until the most recent iterations of this movie series, and that's General Organa in the Star Wars Episode 7 and Episode 8, also known as Princess Leia. Princess Leia, in the original episodes 4, 5, and 6, she's a warrior, she's a go-getter, she's a politician, she's a princess, and she doesn't really do a lot of mentoring that we see until we get to episodes 7 and 8, when there is the resistance that General Organa has been keeping alive, and it is through her guidance, her leadership, her mentorship, that the resistance is able to survive and thrive. Episode 8, we get some really beautiful moments between some of these female leaders in the resistance, and they all look up to Leia. That was more than 5, but that wraps up my top 5 Wednesday of my favorite teachers and mentors, not including anyone from Harry Potter. So it was a very interesting challenge, but I think we rose to meet it. And I want you to put some comments in the comment section below of some of your favorite fictional teachers and mentors, or you can find me on social media if you want to talk to me there. I'm on Twitter and Instagram. It's @WhatCastRead. It's the same as this channel, so it's super easy to find. And you can also find me on Goodreads if that's your social media of choice, and that link will always be down below. Otherwise, you know how these videos end. I'll talk to you later. Bye.